So, Erev Tov Nashim Mekarot, good evening, dear ladies, righteous ladies. This parasha this week is Parashat Vayetzei, B'Sha'at Tova. Vayetzei Yaakov mi Beersheva ve'elech Harana. But I would like to say that this shiur is Lilui Nishmat Rabbi Aaron ben Eliyahu הנולד משרה, ורבי אליהו בן אהרון הנולד מרחל תוליה. תהי נשמתם צרורה בצרור אורח חיים. And we added also ארי בן בתיור, תהי נשמתה צרורה בצרור אורח חיים. And תמר מזל טוב בת אברהם הנולדה מחווה, תהי נשמתה צרורה בצרור אורח חיים. So those zchut of big rabbis and righteous people will be for us this lesson, Bezrat Hashem. I would like to say שהגיע משיח צדקנו במהרה בימינו, אמן. And let's ask the מבשר אליהו הנביא, אליהו תשבי אליהו גילדי במהרה בנו משיח בן דוד, אליהו הנביא זכור לטוב, אמן כן יהי רצון. I would like to start. It's written over here, ויצא יעקב מבאר שבע וילך חרנה. ויצא יעקב מבאר שבע וילך חרנה. And the translation that Yaakov departed from Beersheba and he went Harana. And Rashi says about it, he says, why do we have kefel lashon, like double expression over here? Because we have Vayetzei, departed, and then Vayelech, and went. Rashi says, why do we need both of them? It's enough to say Vayelech, Yaakov, Harana. Why do we need to have Vayetzei and Vayelech, departed and went? Rashi says, because we can see that when we have a righteous person in a city, in a town, wherever he is, in the same place that he is, hu hoda, hu ziva, vehu hadara. Hu hoda, hu ziva, vehu hadara. If we have a righteous person, I wrote the expressions also in English. It means that the righteous person is also the magnificence of that place. This is Hoda, the magnificence of that place. It's also the splendor, Ziva, the splendor of that place, and also the grandeur of that place, which means he brings light to the place. He brings a tube of shefa, of prosperity to that place. This is the person that is righteous. And we know that in Beersheba we had three righteous people. We had Yitzchak, we had Rivka, and Yaakov. And we know that Yitzchak was kulo din, all of him was judgment. We know that Rivka was the midah, the measure of chesed. And we know, because you remember that Eliezer was choosing a woman with chesed when he went to choose Rivka. And you know that Yaakov, his measure is combined of both of them, judgment and chesed. So he had a lot of shefa, a lot of prosperity that came over him. So he was Hoda, Ziva, V'Adara. Those are three words for prosperity, for light that he brought in. And Rashi says, once that righteous person goes out of the town, out of the city, Hoda, Pana Ziva, Upana Adara, which means all those three characteristics that bring light to the place go away with him. It's not the same. סליחה? כן, כשצדיק עוזב את העיר, I'll say it also in Hebrew. כשצדיק עוזב את העיר, פנה הודה, פנה זיווה ופנה הדרה. He takes it with him. And we see that also in Vayetzei. I'm going to tell you something that is a chidush. You'll see it also in Vayetzei. Why did he need to say Vayetzei? Rashi says it's enough to say Vayelech. Vayetzei, this is also from the secret of the Torah. You can see over here. It's like you say Vay and Se. Vay milshon oy va'avoy, vay lanu shu avar, that he went out of this town, went out of the city. And what is Tze? Tze in Gematria, Tzadik is 90. And Aleph is 1. You remember what is 91? Amen. 91 is Amen, is the power of Amen, and it's more than that. 91 is also the combination of two tubes. One of them is the name of God, that is 26, Yud K, Vav K. That is one of them. And the other one is Adnut, which is exactly together, it's 91. He took both gates of prosperity with him. That's why we say Vayetzei, because he took those gates, both of them, Yud Kei Vav Kei and Adnut, when he went out of the city, because the Shekhinah goes with him. So that's what we see over here. But there's something wonderful in it if you look. If you look at Yaakov, I wrote to you last time, I think it was, when we spoke about Yaakov, the Gematria of Yaakov is 182. Mm-hmm. You remember? Let's do it together.
It's 91.
Okay, Yaakov, we have Bet is 2, Kuf is 100, Ain is 70, and Yud is 10. Together it's 182. And we see that he went out of Beersheba. Okay? Beersheba in Gematria, already calculated for you, is 575. This is Beersheba. And you can see Bet is 2, Aleph is 1, Reish is 200. Okay, Shin is 300, and we have Bet 2 again, and Ayin is 70. Okay, so we have 575. Let's subtract both of them. Okay, we'll subtract them. You have 393. 393 is exactly Pana Hoda, Ziva V'Hadara. Exactly the Gematria of Pana Hoda, Ziva V'Hadara. Exactly 393. This is where our sages came to that when a righteous person comes to the city, Hu Oda, Hu Ziva, Hu Hadara. He is the light of that city. He brings the light, the sunshine into that city. So now we can see the connection, because we can barely see what's written over here, but we can see the connection. So we can see Vayetzei Yaakov Vayelech Haran. We see in Parashat Vayetzei 20 years from the life of Yaakov Avinu. When he went out of his father's house, he went to Elyashiv of Shem Be'ever. He studied there for 14 years. Then he went to Lavan. 20 years he was there. 7 years he worked for Rachel and he got Leah. We're going to speak about it and all the stories that are connected to it. And then we see that another 7 years he worked for Rachel, again because he married Leah, and he worked another 7 years for Rachel. And then 6 years just to gain something to go back to Eretz Yisrael, Eretz Canaan. So he took the kvasim, the sheep, and you see Nekudim, and we'll speak, if we'll have time, we'll speak about it. He took the sheep, and he saw to that they will have other sheep, so they will breed, and he took it back with him to Eretz Canaan. We'll speak about it later. And we look at Vayetzei Yaakov. It says also, the Midrash says that when Yaakov went out, you know what happened? Esav told his son Eliphaz to catch Yaakov. He said, go into Yaakov, catch him, and kill him, and take off his head. Bring his head to me. I would like to see his head. So Eliphaz went after Yaakov. He was running after Yaakov, and he caught him. And he sat, it says, Arba Amah from him. He sat like a distance from him, because Yaakov taught him Torah. He taught him the Torah. So Eliphaz told Yaakov, you know, Yaakov, my father told me to kill you and to bring your head to him. He told me to take your head off and to bring it to him. And I don't know what to do. And Yaakov saw that this is the one mitzvah that Eliphaz wants to keep. So what did Yaakov do? He told him, you know what? I will give you all the things that I took out with me. All the property that I have over here with me. The gold, everything that I have with me, I will give it to you. And ani nechshav hamet. And the poor person is considered as a dead person. So once I give you everything, it's like you fulfilled what your father wanted. He wanted to kill me, so it's like you're fulfilling it. But Eliphaz says, but he wants your head. So he says, tell your father that while you were on the way, a lion, Ari came to you. A lion came to you, and he ate the head. You don't have the head. So Eliphaz took everything and went back to his father. So now Yaakov Avinu is going out, and he's going to Haran, which you know that Lavan is over there, the son of Betuel, and we know Betuel Harami Milshon Ramai, a con man, and Lavan is also a con man, and he comes with empty hands. He doesn't have anything. Who came over there first? Eliezer, Eved Avram. And you remember the slave came with plenty of gifts. He had camels, 10 camels. He gave also ear nose. He gave also bracelets for the hands. He gave a lot of presents to Rivka, but he comes with empty hands. So once he went out of Beersheba, he told Hashem, he said to Hashem, he looked up to the sky, and that's what we need to do all the time. He said, I will look towards the mountains and I will ask, who will help me? Where do I find my help? And you know, it's Perek Kuf Chaf Aleph, 121. And then he says to himself, I have bitachon be'Hashem. I am sure and I know that God is going to help me. Ezri mi'im Hashem osa shamayim va'aretz. My help is going to come from Hashem who created heaven and earth. And there's a few stories about it. I'm going to give you two of them here. And it says, a Baal Shem Tov said to his students, he says, a Baal Shem Tov told them, you know, students, I would like you to see, do you know what true emunah, true bitachon in Hashem is? So they looked at each other, and he says, go to the next town, the neighboring town, and there is Rabbi Yecheskel, go to him and see what a true emunah is. So the students went to him. He had an inn, he was an innkeeper, and they went to him. And once they went to his house, they said that they would like to spend the night in his inn. So he said, come, please come in. He made, a feast for them, gave them food. They said Ma'ariv, and then they ate the food. And they sat down to study Torah. At like a few hours later, they heard on the door a knock, a very strong knock on the door. And he didn't open. At the beginning, he didn't open the door. He just heard the knock. A half hour later, again there's a loud knock on the door. And the Talmidim, the scholars, are sitting there and looking at him, and he's smiling. He's very calm. He's not nervous. Then a half an hour later, another knock on the door. So the Talmidim are asking him, who's that? So he opened the door, and they can see that this is a policeman. He comes from the governor and tells him, you have 3 hours to pay the schar dira, the rent. You have 3 hours to pay the rent for the inn, otherwise you and your family are going to jail. Okay? He comes in, he has a smile on his face. All the Talmidim, all the scholars are looking at him, but nobody says a word. They heard what happened, and he smiles. Then a few minutes later, one of them asks him, tell me, if you are so confident with yourself, maybe you have the money, so why don't you go there and just pay the money? He said, I have to tell you, I don't have even a penny to pay them. But they say, but you have 3 hours. He says, Ve'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will find me the money. I'm not worried. Ve'ezrat Hashem, if He brought this to me, then the money will be found. Okay, so they are sitting, studying, and he sits and he's calm. When we are nervous and we have something on our minds, we can't be calm. It's very hard to put bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and say, okay, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm putting my emunah, the trust in you. You'll do whatever you need. I'm not worrying anymore. Everything is going to be okay. This is a true bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't give you anything that you cannot stand in front of. Everything that He gives in front of you, you can overcome. He gives you the power to overcome. Otherwise, He won't give it to you. So you understand that it's like, it says, why do the righteous people have a lot of suffering? Look at our forefathers. They had so much suffering, and foremothers. And it says, why do they have so much suffering? Why does the wicked people don't have so much suffering like the good people? So there's a mashal, a parable that says like this, that if you have two shvarim, like two cows that can work, and you need to, one of them is a little bit weaker and a little bit sick, and the one is strong and good, you'll take the strong one and you'll put the work on her back. That's what you're going to do, not the weaker one. And who is the weak? The wicked ones are weak in the bitachon in Hashem. So it's even hard to put something on them. But the righteous people, that they do have bitachon in Hashem. Hashem tests them in order to lemarek avonotehem, to clean them from all the avonot, from all the sins, even if it's not their own sins. It can be their father's sins, the relatives, the children, everything that comes on them. It depends on the age of the children. It can be also the sins of Am Yisrael. And because all of us are part of one big puzzle, we are responsible for each other. Kol Am Yisrael arevin ze lazeh. So we help each other fix everything. It's like when we put the tefillin, the boys put the tefillin, the men, they put the tefillin. So tell me, if they put the tefillin on their arms, so only the arm is doing the mitzvah? No, the whole body is doing the mitzvah. Even though the tefillin is only on the arm and on the head, but the whole body does the mitzvah. because the whole body is part of the mitzvah. Because we daven, we pray, we move our body, everything is part of the mitzvah. So that's the same thing. So we can see that here Rabbi Yecheskel had a lot of emunah b'kadosh baruch hu, bitachon b'kadosh baruch hu, bitachon amiti, it's a true bitachon, that he knows that everything will come to its place. So it's almost 3 hours are passing, and they can see that Rabbi Yecheskel is going to the cupboard. He takes out his coat, he's wearing his coat. They ask him, where are you going to? He says, I have to go to the governor to pay the rent. And they say, but you said you don't have a penny. How will it go? He says, don't worry, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send me the money. As he opens the door, a wagon stops exactly at the entrance of the inn. And that person that sits on the wagon is a person that usually makes mischarit, or he buys merchandise from him. So he knows that he also sells wine and beer. So he told him, I would like to buy the wine and the beer that you're preparing in a few months. I would like to buy, and I just received money. I would prefer to pay for it now. And then once you finish, please give it to me. So he gave him exactly what he needed for the rent. Exactly what he needed. And this is what is a true bitachon b'kadosh baruch hu, a true emunah b'kadosh baruch hu. And if each and every one of us will be true to himself, you'll see that each and every one of us had something like this, resembles this story that happened to him. He wanted something, he needed something, and then Hashem brought someone to bring it to him, or Hashem opened the door for him, or the window for him. And you'll see each and every one has something like that. And there's another story about Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. It says about Rabbi Chaim Volozhin, a beautiful story. Once he was teaching his scholars, his students, and there were Talmidei Chachamim were sitting, and he said, it was very late, he said, tell me, do you know what the time is now? What's the hour? And nobody knew the hour. So Rabbi Chaim Volozhin said, if we truly had a true bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would see to that even one of us will have a watch, and not only a watch, but a gold watch, to see the time, to know the time. He didn't, it says, the Midrash says, he did not finish even his words, and again there was a knock on the door. And he opened it, he sees Russian soldiers over there. A lot of Russian soldiers, but one soldier is in front of the door. And the soldiers, he's confused, he sees Talmidei Chachamim over there, and they're all soldiers. And he looks, and he's looking to see who the rabbi is. And then he sees Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. And he says to him, Rebbe, he says, I would like to tell you that I'm a Jewish Russian soldier. And I'm the only Jewish Russian soldier in this pluga, in this army, in this pluga, this part of the army. He says, I'm the only... Yes, division. I'm the only one. I'm the only Jewish. I'm the only Jewish soldier over there, and I have a present that is in my pocket. A present from my father, and it's a gold watch. And I know that I'm going with them. I won't see that gold watch, and I would like to give it to a Jewish person. So I would like to give it to you, Rabbi. So he gives him the gold watch. So Rabbi Chaim Volozhin tells his scholars, "You see what a true emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is." That's how we should say, "Yasai nai la'arim me'ayin yavo ezri, ezri mi Hashem osa shamayim va'aretz, amen ken yeh ratzon." Look how beautiful everything comes together. And it says after that, "Vayifga b'makom." It says, "Vayifga b'makom, vayalan sham, ki ba shemesh ve'ikach me'avnei hamakom ve'yasa merashotav." It says that "Vayifga b'makom" means, I will show it to you just a minute. You know that Avraham Avinu made shacharit for us, the davening in shacharit, the morning davening for us. Mincha, in the afternoon, the mincha is by Yitzchak Avinu, and we know that Yaakov Avinu made exactly from this sentence, "Vayifga b'makom vayalen sham," which means, it says, "En vayifga el tefillah." Vayifga, it means that he was there and stood over there. I'll give you exactly the translation. It says like this: he encountered the place and spent the night there. Encountered means tefillah, davening. It says, "En vayifga el tefillah." And how do we know that? We know that from Sefer Yirmiyahu. It says, "Ve'ata al titpalel ba'adam hazeh ve'al tisa ba'adam rina ve'tefillah ve'al tifga bi." Tifga, encountered, means tefillah. It comes from here. And we can see Vayetzei Yitzchak lasuach basadeh, which means that Yitzchak went out to the field, and it says, the ein sicha, ein yetzia, supplicate, there's no supplicate, but in the meaning of tefillah. And we know that from David HaMelech, because it says, tefillah la'ani ki ya'atov v'lifnei Hashem yishpoch sicho. Sicho milshon tefillah. And it pours forth his supplications, which means that supplication is a tefillah. And then we can see by Avraham Avinu, Vayashkem Avraham baboker el hamakom asher amad sham, and he stood there. The place that he stood there, amad, ein amidai la tefillah. And it's written in Tehillim in Perek 106. It's written, Vayamot Pinchas ve'ipalel, which means, and Pinchas stood and prayed, daven. That's what it means, which means each one of them. If we're talking about tefillah, sicha, or vayifga, each and every one of them means tefillah, means davening. So we have the davening from them. But I'm going back. If we're talking about the davening, it says in the Midrash, Vayetzei Yaakov. The Midrash says a special thing. Vayetzei, it means Vayar Yaakov Tzurat Aleph, which means that Yaakov Avinu saw the shape of the letter Aleph. So Vayetzei, look over here. Vayetzei, it says Vayar Yaakov Tzurat Aleph, which means, and Yaakov saw the letter Aleph, and you can see the first letters of each word is Vayetzei. Do you see Vayetzei? Vav, Yud, Tzadik, Aleph. So he saw the letter Aleph. So what's very important about the letter? Why did he see? And how come he saw the letter Aleph? Why did Yaakov Avinu see the letter Aleph in front of his eyes when he went out of Be'er Sheva? And from this we study how to work Hashem. איך לעבוד את הקדוש ברוך הוא. Yaakov Avinu, what did he see? We know that Yaakov Avinu היה איש תם יושב אוהלים. It says that Yaakov Avinu היה איש תם יושב אוהלים, which he was a righteous person who sits between tents. What tents? The tents were Abraham. This is Yaakov Avinu. He sits between the tent of Abraham, which is Chesed, righteousness, and Yitzchak, Abraham, and Yitzchak, which is Din, okay, judgment. He sits between them because he has the midah, the measure of both of them, judgment and righteousness, both of them. So we see that that's the connection between Avraham Avinu and Yitzchak and Yaakov over here. But what is important about the letter Aleph? So it says something very nice. Megaleh Amukot says about it something very nice, and it's written like this. In Bereshit it's written, Vayikra Elokim larakia shamayim. So Hashem called the rakia, Elokim called the rakia is a firmament, he called them heaven, skies. Okay? As Rashi says over there, that how did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create the sky? He took fire and he took water and he combined them together. So let's look. Fire and water, esh, ve'mayim. What do I get? Ashmayim. Okay? I get the word Ashmayim. So the sky, the heaven, was supposed to be called Ashmayim. But we see that the sky, heaven, is not called Ashmayim, it's called Shamayim. What happened to the letter Aleph? Where did it go to? What happened to the letter Aleph? We know in Bereshit that Ashmayim was supposed to be the name of the heaven, but it isn't, it's Shamayim. So look very carefully. I would like to tell you, in Bereshit, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, so he was looking at the Torah and creating the world. But then each creature that he created, and everything, the stars, the moon, the animals, everything that he created, he asked them before if they are willing to be in the way, the physical way that he's creating them. And each one of them agreed that this is the way that they want to be created. The shape that they will have in this earth, the colors, everything. He asked them before if they agreed to that. So he created them like this. Then he came to earth. He told the earth, because the earth is the lower part of the creation. And it's very far from Hashem. So he said to Earth, Earth, are you willing to be created like this? You're going to be domem, you're not moving, you're going to be domem, and the lowest part in all the creation. All the creation, Kol Shiva, and 7 Rekim, firements, 7 Rekim, 7 firements, you're the lowest one of them all, the farthest from me. And because the earth wanted to fulfill Hashem's word, she quickly did that. It says, she ran to do what he wanted her to do. So it says in the Midrash, she was supposed to be, if Iratza, she was supposed to be called Ratz, because she was Ratzta, she wanted. Milshon Ratz. Milshon Ratz, she wanted to do what God wanted her to do. So what did Hashem do? He said, you wanted to do everything that I wanted, you didn't say anything. Because for example, when Hashem separated the water beneath and the water above, the water beneath, Hamayim HaTachtonim, the water over the oceans, everything over here, the oceans, the rivers, the springs, are called Mayim Bochim. It means water that are crying. Mayim Bochim they are called. The waters over here. And why are the water are crying? Because they did not want to separate from the water above. Because they wanted to be as near as they could to Hashem. They didn't want to separate. That's why when we do tashlich, we look at the water. Why do we do tashlich in the water? Because we look at the waves. What do the waves do? You'll see the waves go up and they fall down. Why? Because they want to touch God. They want to get to God. They want to be near God. So it's for us to do tashlich and to see that and to learn from them. That we have the parts, the neshama from God, and they are domem. They don't have life. That are not living things, and still the thing that they want is to be closer to God, to be closer to the Shekhinah. So we also need to do that. So what Hashem told the Eretz, earth, because you wanted that, I'm going to give you my Aleph. Aleph, which is my name. I told you Aleph is 26, is the name of God. Yud is 10, and Vav is 6. Together it's 26. It's the name of God. It's Alufo Shel Olam, the Lord of this world. So he says, Aleph, I will take and I will add it to us. And we have from that Eretz. And he called Earth. So what did Yaakov learn from that when he saw that? What did he learn from that? He said, listen carefully. He said, until now, what did I do? I served Hashem by studying the Torah. That's what I did. I didn't go to work. I didn't do anything else. Only sat down and studied Torah. Ish tam yoshev oalim. Benoel Avraham, Noel Yitzchak. He studied Torah all the time. But now I understand that Hashem says, I would like you to work also physically in this world. In order to elevate the physical world to the spiritual world. How will you do that? By the Aleph. By the Aleph of Aretz. You have to start working, to be a shepherd, to do something, to work, and to bless everything that you do. And now you're going to elevate everything physical in this world to the spiritual world. And it says in Shulchan Aruch, I brought it here because you will see in Shulchan Aruch, Be'orach Chaim, Shulchan Aruch, Siman Rala, Reish Lamed Aleph, it says like this, and I will translate for you. Just a minute. Yeah, ואמרו חכמים, כל מעשיך יהיו לשם שמיים. Everything that you do should be supposed to be towards Hashem. Everything's supposed to be only for Hashem. שאפילו דברים של רשות. Things that you do regularly, every day. For example, אכילה, you eat something. שתייה, you drink something. You walk, you sit, you wake up in the morning. You're intimate with your husbands. You speak. Everything that you need for your body, asher yatzar, everything that you kulam la'avodat borecha or ledavar or gorem avodato, everything's supposed to be in order to praise the name of God. Everything is supposed to be in order to elevate the name of God. Everything that we do, every small thing, tzarich liot l'shem shamayim. I told you, remember I told you that, sometimes we don't know if we did, God forbid, a sin. And then we start praying and we say, for example, Tehillim, or we say Perek Shira, or do something, or we go and do a mitzvah. If, God forbid, we did something wrong before that, what happens, that mitzvah or that prayer doesn't go to Kisei HaKavod, doesn't go to Hashem. It goes to the Sitra Achra. Because also the bad things, also the klipot, the shells of Satan, of Satan, and they also need food. What kind of food? Spiritual food. They get it from our sins. So when we daven and we don't put this davening and we don't say L'Shem Yechud or we say Yihyu L'Ratzon Imrei Pi, we don't say this is for Hashem, even if I did something wrong and I didn't know about it, I didn't pay attention and I did something wrong, I want this davening to go straight to you, Hashem. Otherwise it goes to the other side, because ככה הקדוש ברוך הוא ברא זה לעומת זה ברא הקדוש ברוך הוא, because he created both of them, the good and the bad, and also the bad need also spiritual food. So how do they get that spiritual? From us, exactly from what we do. But sometimes we don't even pay. Sometimes we said Lashon Hara and we didn't even pay attention. We didn't think about it at that minute, because the whole
something happened at that family, like somebody not feel good or somebody needs something. You didn't mean to say something bad. You just need to say somebody needs help.
No, you're allowed to. בטח שצריך help. No, that's not what I'm saying. Exactly. If you did something bad you hurt someone with a word, without noticing, זה קורה לפעמים. Because we're only human beings, and we came to this world in order to make a fixing. So in order to fix things, we have to concentrate on what we do. But sometimes, we have children, we have things going on, we work, that's the regular clock of life. So we don't pay attention sometimes. So we need, before we do a mitzvah, before we do something, to remember to say that this is for Hashem. We want it to go straight to Hashem, תחת כיסא הכבוד, not to anywhere else, just to Hashem. Because I told you, yes, L'Shem Yechud Kedusha Berichu. I will give it to you at the end. Come to me at the end and I'll say, Yihyu L'Ratzon Imrei Pi. Lechaven, you need to chaven. Yes, you need to think about it, to say to Hashem, Yihyu L'Ratzon, at least Yihyu L'Ratzon Imrei Pi. הריני מזמדת להודות ולשבח את בורי.
זה תיקון כללי, תיקון כללי.
If you did something wrong, yes. And you don't know it. That's why, but
איפה את יודעת, את עשית עוד לא עשית?
אז לכן את תמיד אומרת. את תמיד אומרת. You always say, because you don't know. You're not the judge in this world. You understand? We are teaching ourselves. We came to this world in order to do a tikkun. That's what we came over, to do a tikkun. We did. We said Tehillim, והריני מזמנת לפי להודות ולשבח. We said every רצון, we said, and then we blessed the food. So everything was really, truly to Hashem. Yes, I'll give you an example. In the morning, you're not allowed to eat before you daven. But sometimes you don't feel well, you want to eat something because you don't have the strength to daven. Then you say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're allowed to say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm eating this in order that I can work and daven for you. So you're allowed to say that and drink something. You understand? וזה אמרה רגילה. You don't have to say something special, but you're מכוון to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not to anywhere else. Okay, let's continue. So we can see over here the hint that Yaakov also receives the connection between elevating the physical world to the spiritual world, because it's written also in this parasha. He sees Sulam Mutzav in the dream that he dreams. We're going to speak in a minute about the dream. It's written, but I have to finish the idea. So it's written, Sulam Mutzav Arza, Sulam Mutzav Arza, Verosho Magia Shamayma. You see, even over here, Kadosh Baruch Hu tells him, he tells him, the ladder is on the floor, is lying on the floor, but the head of the ladder is towards the sky. So Arza, he shows him over here. That's the connection between earth, the physical world, and the spiritual world. It's connecting. For example, how do we connect the physical world to the spiritual world? You'll see that the water cycle connects this physical world, the earth, to the spiritual world, a world higher than us. Just the water cycle. You know the water cycle, the steam that goes out, everything that goes and turns into cloud, and then again there's rain. This is also a connection. And when Hashem went down, Lahar Sinai, Ve'ered Hashem al Har Sinai, when we received the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu connected the spiritual world with the physical world over here, by coming towards the physical world. So he elevated the physical world. So that's what we are doing, by doing bracha rishona vebracha achrona, everything that you do, just like you saw in the Shulchan Aruch, everything that we do is supposed to be towards Hashem, because we are only visitors in this world. We come to a short period of time. King David says, 70 shana v'im b'gvorot 80 shana, 70 years or 80 years, v'im b'gvorot 80 shana. That's why we need to do everything in order that we will do the tikkun. And if Mashiach comes now, Bezrat Hashem, b'mira b'menu amen, there won't be any problem. But if still he didn't come, and there's Tchiyat HaMetim, we want to come up in Tchiyat HaMetim. We would like to see all the righteous people, all the tzaddikim, all the rabbis, the gaonim, rishonim, achronim, tanaim, everyone, our forefathers, our foremothers. So Be'ezrat Hashem, in order that we'll have the zchut, the merit to see them, we need to fix ourselves. How do we do that? We elevate everything in this physical world to the spiritual world. And by working on our midot, on our measures, on our characteristics. How do we work on our characteristics? Everything that we study in the Shul Torah and other things that we study, we go to Shul and we study. We have to remind ourselves, this is how we correct ourselves. This is the work. We remind ourselves, listen, you shouldn't speak Lashon Hara. You know, if you hear something, tell her that you don't want to hear that. You shouldn't do this. This is how we work on that, and this becomes a second nature to us. Once we teach ourselves, it becomes a second nature, and then it's our nature. It's part of us. So we teach ourselves to be good. We came for this in this world. We came to do the fixing. So let's continue. And it says, Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. It says, Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. And the Midrash says he took stones over here. It says, oh, I forgot to tell you something. Vayifga b'makom, vayalan sham kiba shemesh. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom, vayasem merashotav. He took the stones and he put them in order that he can sleep. And I told you he went to Haran, Beersheba to Haran, but on the way to Haran, he was also almost in Haran. He remembered that he did not daven Behar Moriah, where his grandfather Avraham Avinu and Yitzchak davened over there. So he had Kfitzat HaDerech. He slept over there. Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted his davening, so he did Kfitzat HaDerech for him, a jump of the road for him. So he went quickly over there, and he was sleeping. Derech Hagav, our sages say that because of that, there's a minhag that people usually, you'll see Hasidim take stones from the Holy Land and put it under the head on Tisha B'Av. And that because on the place, Har Moriah is the place that Bet HaMikdash was built. The temple was built. So you'll see, and also there's a minhag that they take small pieces of stones from Israel in order to remind them that they will go back to Israel, Be'ezrat Hashem. On the right time they will go back to Israel. So it's a minhag. And we can see that he took a stone. It's written over here, Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. And after that, you'll see later, it's written, Vayikach et ha'even. Over here, it's written that he took stones, and then it's written that he took a stone, one stone. So what happened to a stone? What happened? One stone, one piece of stone. They became one. So how many stones did he take? So there are a few ideas in the Midrash. Some say 3 stones. 3 stones against Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. He said, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed himself to Abraham, and then he showed himself to Yitzchak, then I need to see if I'm righteous, a true righteous person, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show himself to me. So what did he do? He put the stones underneath him. And then when the stones were united and became one stone, he knew that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will put his name also on him. And he called him Yaakov and then Israel. He put his name on the 12 tribes. So we can see, this is one point of view of the sages, but there's another one. It says that the 3 stones was also against Torah, Avodah, V'Gmilut Chasadim. Al Shlosha Dvarim ha'olam omed. On 3 things the world is standing. Torah, the studying of Torah, Avodah, the serving of Hashem by working. Gmilut Chasadim is by kindness and doing good deeds, kind deeds to other people. So it says that the 3 stones were sitting underneath his head. And it says that they started to fight. Each one of them thought that he is the most important thing. The Torah said, well, studying of the Torah is the most important thing, because the whole world was created because of the Torah. And if the children of Israel won't study Torah, the whole world is tohu vavohu. The whole world won't be anymore. It will be all ruined. And then the Avodah said, but you know, Amen lechem en Torah. If there's nothing to eat, there's no Torah. You can't study Torah because we are physical in this world. And then the Gmilut Chasadim said, but if we won't be righteous to one another, we'll kill each other. There won't be any Torah. Nobody will study anything. There won't be any work. It's like today. If you loved each other, there won't be any hungry people in the world. There won't be wars in the world. Everything will be okay. So three stones were fighting, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, all of you are important as one. There are three amudim, three buildings of three parts of building the universe. So you are all connected. So he connected them to three stones. And then there's another pirush. It says that he wanted to know, he knew that Rivka was supposed to have the 12 tribes, but she didn't. So he said, I'm going to take 12 stones, and I'm going to put it underneath my head. And let's see if they will be joined together. I will know that I will have the 12 tribes. And the question is, isn't that more logical to take one stone and to see if it will be separated to 12 stones? Then we'll know truly that he's going to have 12 children. Why did he do the opposite? Because isn't that more...
To see if there would be one.
Exactly. It was in order, it was in order to see if they will be united. Alvai v'Akadosh Baruch Hu yivarech otan, will bless us that today we're going to be united. Then there won't be a problem and we'll have Mashiach now. So he wanted to know if all of his children, the 12 tribes that he's going to have, will be together and will love each other. And they all really combined to one stone. You know, and the question is, why didn't the stone, after they were combined, why each part of the stone, the one stone, didn't start fighting with another part of the stone, telling her, maybe you should put on my side. You know, the pillar has a lot of sides, here, backwards. So why didn't they fight and say, why did that's a righteous a person, the tzaddik, Yaakov, will put his head on my side? They didn't fight because they were truly united. When you have love, true love, without expecting anyone to give you back anything, then there's true peace between people. Avat chinam, free love, without anything. Nobody owes anything to anyone. Really, from your heart you give something. It's a big zchut to have this midah, this characteristic, to give someone with all of your heart without having anything. So we can see that after the stones had their fight, it says also that the 12 stones were all, you remember that I told you Vayetzei? It's also the two names of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei V'Adnut. If you look very carefully, the Yud Bet, you remember every month I tell you what the name, what the right combination of Yud Kei Vav Kei for that month that you have to say on Rosh Chodesh, Musaf of Rosh Chodesh. So he took that also to have the 12 tzerufim, the 12 combinations of the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei around him in order to protect him from animals and everything bad. And Hashem really protected him, because it says, look what's written over here, Kiba Shemesh. It says that the angels went down through the ladder, because it dreamt about a ladder that was standing on earth, and the head of the ladder was in the sky. So it says that the angels were looking down, and they were they were confused. They didn't know what they're seeing, because בכיסא הכבוד they saw 4 faces, של נשר, של שור, וארי ושל אדם, which means a lion, an eagle, shor, it's like a bull, and then a human being. But the face of the human being, Adam Arishon, that was over there, the face of the human being was the face of Yaakov, because I told you that Yaakov had the same face as Adam Arishon. So they went up, they saw the face of Adam Arishon, and they are going down, and they're seeing the same face and down on earth. So they went up and down, and they said, what's going on here? They were going up and down, and they said, what's going on here? This is really maybe a strong person, a strong spiritually person, a righteous person. He's going to ruin the whole world, because there can't be that two phases are up over there, one face, and down there another face. So Hashem, what did he do? He went down to protect Yaakov Avinu. That's the Yudbet Seraphim, the 12 Seraphim, 12 combinations of Shem Hashem that were around his head. So he went down to protect him. So he was protecting him, and then the angels said, maybe we should kill him. And the ones that thought of killing, Hashem punished them. It's not like in the physical world, in this world. It says in this world, when a nation comes and speaks badly about the children of Israel, she gets a stage, Ba'um, in the United Nations. They have a stage, they hear her, everything's okay. But then if a nation speaks good about the children of Israel, about Israel, then you don't hear her voice. But it's not the same in the spiritual world. If angels speak badly about the children of Israel, Hashem punishes them. But if they show the merit of the children of Israel, Hashem gives them things and gives them merit for that. So we can see over here that Hashem protected him. We see another thing. We see that the ladder, it says in the ladder that the angels were going up and down. And the question is, how come? Angels are supposed to go down and then up. You agree with me that in the spiritual world they're in a higher level. So they are supposed to go down and then up. How did the angels go up and then down? What happened? So it says in the Midrash two things. First of all, there are two angels that a person has when he is in the land of Israel. They are not allowed to go out of the land of Israel. Once he goes out of the land of Israel, another two angels that are for Chutz La'aretz, that go go out of the land of Israel, are allowed to go there, come with him, and accompany him. This is one thing, but the second thing, do you remember the three angels came to Avraham Avinu?
Yeah.
They were Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. You remember them?
Yeah.
So what happened with the three angels? Two of them went to Sodom VeAmorah. They went over there. Who were there? It says Gabriel and Michael. Gabriel and Michael went over there. Gabriel was supposed to ruin Sodom VeAmorah. And Michael was supposed to take Lot out to save him. So what happened, you remember? They went to Lot, and Hashem told them not to say what they're going to do over there. But instead they told Lot, it says like this. They told Lot, Ki mashchitim anachnu, we are going to ruin Sodom VeAmorah. It wasn't their place to say Ki mashchitim anachnu, because they are not ruining. The one that is ruining is Hashem. But they said, we are ruining. You'll ask me, yes, them. So they are supposed to say that Hashem is ruining, but they said we are ruining. Do you understand? They said us, the angels, are ruining, and it's a very big question, because you know that angels don't have Yetzer Hara. They don't have the bad spirit. So what happened that they had such a mistake? Why did they say that? So the Midrash says that when you go to a bad place, it's like B'Tehillim that we read the first chapter. So we see that he doesn't go, he doesn't stand, and he doesn't sit in a place that Rashaim sit, in wicked places, in a wicked place, that the people that are wicked sat over there. So we can, and the question is why? Because the energy of that person is still in that place. So what happened is when they went to Sodom VeAmorah, the energy of Sodom VeAmorah just went over them. So they had a slip in their mouth. Because of that, they were punished. For 118 years, they stayed here in earth. They did not go back. When did they go back? When Yaakov dreamed the dream of the Sulam. Then they went back up the ladder. Only then they went back up the ladder. That's why it says Olim veYordim, going up and then down.
They went up and up.
Exactly. That's why they went up. Only when he dreamt the dream, Michael and Gabriel went back. They were punished. Tetaru lachem, they were angels and they were punished and they didn't have Yetzer Hara. And they didn't mean to do a bad thing. So al achat kama v'chama us as human beings. And now let's look Let's look at the sulam.
What they are did,
118.
what they are did is
They stayed over here as punishment. Ken, because they couldn't go back. I would like to show you the sulam is written like this. Please pay attention, you'll see that the sulam is written without a vav in the mikra. If you look at the sulam and we'll do the numerical value of sulam, you'll see that samech is 60, lamed is 30, and mem is 40. How much is it? 130. You know what is 130? Sinai. Sinai. Samech is 60, Yud is 10, Nun is 50, and another Yud is 10. Together is 130. Now what can a ladder do? If a person has modesty, he will go with a ladder in the spiritual world, in the spiritual level, up till Sinai, Kabbalat Matan Torah b'Mamad Har Sinai. To the Torah, he will understand the Torah, he will gain wisdom and understanding, Chokhmah Binah V'Dat, and the connection between wisdom and understanding, he will get them because he's very modest. He will get to that connection. But if a person is not modest, I will add the Vav over here. I will add Vav to the Sulam. How much will I have over here? Vav is 6, 136. That's Sulam. And you know what it is? It's Mammon, money. That's 136 because Mem is 40, another Mem is 40, Vav is 6, Nun is 50. So together it's 136, and then Oni. And then we have Oni. Ayin is 70, Vav is 6, Nun is 50, and Yud is 10. Again 136. So when we climb the ladder, listen very carefully. It symbolizes when a person climbs the ladder and succeeds in life in this physical world and gains money in this physical world, gains money, mammon. By climbing the ladder, he should take. Ladder is a sulam. Look at the ladder. If we have a ladder with Vav, and with Vav, 136, it's mammon, it's money. So when a person succeeds in this world and gains money in this world and feels that he's rich, he should remember Hashem, and he should take Vav and do gamach with it. You know what gamach is? Good deeds, and help other people with his money. Why Vav? Because you remember that I told you that he who gives pruta le'ani mitbarech b'shesh brachot. Mitbarech, which means he who gives money to the ani is blessed with 6 blessings. So we see that from the Vav of the Sulam. But if he doesn't remember that,
This is the
that's it. I have to finish here.
It is.
Okay, but he continue. Baruch haba. Okay, listen very carefully. So I told you, if he doesn't remember to do charity with what he gained, with the money that he gained, with the mammon that he gained, what does Hashem do to him? It's a cycle. He takes the money from him. And from being rich, he becomes poor, Oni. It's the same numerical value as Oni. So he becomes very poor. He takes that privilege from him. Just a minute. I'll explain. Gmach, it means, if he takes, you see the sulam with the Vav? Vav, 6 are the 6 blessings that a person is blessed if he gives money to other people, he gives charity. כל הנותן פרוטה לאדם מתברך ב6 ברכות, וכל המפייסו בדברים מתברך ב11 ברכות. So because he gave money, did gamach, gave money to charity, he has money. HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps him. He does maaser, he gives money from it. He helps other people with what Hashem gave him. It's not his. Nothing is ours. If it was ours, we would have been buried with everything. But if you'll see, even the Paronim, you look at their graves, they open their graves, all the money is over there, the gold. You don't pay bakshish over there, you don't pay something over there to the Bedin Shel Mala. You don't pay over there. Everything, the only thing that you can take out of this world is the good deeds that we give. Nobody takes anything. You know, when a person passes away, you can see in the home the beautiful, I told you, like the beautiful kitchen is over there, the sofa, the living room, everything is the same. Only the person is not there. His body is in the grave, but the soul goes to Beit Din Shel Mala. So we can see that the world is a cycle. It's a cycle over here, and you can see that by the word sulam. And we would like to have the sulam without Bava Vidui, without the confession. We would like to have it with a spiritual value of Ma'amad Har Sinai, that we will gain the Torah from Ma'amad Har Sinai. I know that we need to do it quickly because there's a...
Without a Vav is sulam without any
conditions.
Exactly.
No conditions. That you do everything that Hashem wants you to do. I will say, Kim, I will finish, I will just want to say something. You know that Hashem it says that when Yaakov Avinu put his head on the stone, Hashem took the whole land of Israel, Kol Eretz Israel, and kipelota, and just folded it, and put it underneath Yaakov's head. And it says, B'Masechet Gittin it says, Daf Nun Aleph it says, Eretz Viktivba, which means it's the land of the deer. And why did they symbolize it as a deer? Because it says if you take from the deer its skin, and you will try to put back the skin on the deer, you can't, because you know it shrinks. You can't put it back on the flesh of the deer. And it's the same thing about the land of Israel, because when the children of Israel go back to the land of Israel and they settle down in the land of Israel, you'll see there's plenty of space for all of us Jews in the land of Israel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes the space for us. We don't need to worry about it. But then when we leave the land of Israel, it like shrinks. It like doesn't have it, just like the land of deer. That's why it symbolizes the land of Israel. And I will give you just a few words because I know the Rabbi. I wanted to speak with you about the neder of Yaakov and about Rachel. And he'll speak היום because he needs to speak too. But I will give you a few more words. I wanted to tell you. I wanted to speak about. I will conclude because it's the same idea, and maybe what I'm going to do is bli neder. Next week, maybe then I'll add that what happened between Yaakov, Lavan, Rachel, Leah, because it's so important. I don't want you to miss it. But I can't give it right now because there's a rabbi that wants to speak in front of you. But I'm going to finish with something. I will speak only about this. We see that when Yaakov Avinu comes and sees the shepherds in Haran, and he tells them, they tell him, Hen od hayom gadol lo et ha'asef ha'mikneh. Why it's important? Because it speaks about our unity, how we are about our unity, how we can be united. It says like this: Hen od hayom gadol, which means the day is still long. I want to show you how we learn the lesson. עוד היום לא עת יאסף המקנה. The day is still long. It's not time for the sheep to be gathered. And the meaning is, listen very carefully, the Midrash says like this: if all of the children of Israel are going to be like hen, like the word hen in Hebrew, which means I don't have a really exact hen. If we are going to be like the word hen, which is combined from the letter Hey and the letter Nun, then you know I told you by Nevi'im there are two expressions about Biat HaMashiach, Beita ve'Achishena. So either it was going to be Beita is the time that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided that Mashiach is going to come, and Achishena is the time that we can make Mashiach come earlier. So the question is, if we're going to be b'fchinat hen, we're going to be like hen, like the two letters of the word hen, and I'm going to explain it to you. Then Mashiach will come be'ita. But then if we are not going to be that, like the two letters, Hey and Nun, that combine to the word Hen, Mashiach is going to come earlier. And why? Look at the letters Hey and Nun in the Hebrew Aleph Bet. If you take all the letters, the Hebrew Aleph Bet, and we'll take Aleph and add it to Tet. Aleph is 1, Tet is 9, we get 10, Yud. You see over here? Then let's combine. Bet, we'll take Bet, which is 2, and add it to Chet, which is 8. We'll get again 10, Yud. Then we'll take Gimel and we'll add it to Zayin. Gimel is 3, Zayin is 7. Again 10. We'll take Daled, which is 4, and add it to Vav, which is 6. We get 10 again. What left without a partner? Hey. Hey. We see Hey doesn't have a partner. We can't add it to anything to gain 10. And then let's look over here. We'll take Yud and we'll add it to Tzadik. Yud is 10, Tzadik is 90. We get 100, Kuf. Then we'll take Chaf and add it to Pei. Chaf is 20, Pei is 80. We get again 100. Then we'll take Lamed and we'll add it to Ain. Lamed is 30, Ain is 70. We get again 100. Then we'll take Mem. We'll take Mem and we'll add it to Samech. Mem is 40, Samech is 60. We get 100. What is left over without a partner? If we'll be like the letters Hey and Nun that don't have a partner, which means if we will have false hatred, instead of combining each other, instead of loving each other, instead of having a musar that will remember that anyway we're not staying here forever. Anyway, we're just doing the tikkun. We're going back to Hashem with our good deeds. That's what we're doing. If we will remember that, and we won't be like the two letters Hen that combine to the letter to the word Hen, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bring Mashiach b'fchinat achishena. Mashiach will come quickly.
When is the Achishena? When?
It depends on us. והאחישנה תלוי בנו. אם אנחנו נעשה את התיקון.
When is the other one?
We don't know. Whenever HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided. So I would like to tell נשים יקרות, לעולם ייפרד אדם מחברו בדבר הלכה יחיד ברבים הלכה כרבים. I would like to wish all of you גאולה פרטית וגאולה כללית עלינו על כל בית ישראל. And בעזרת השם, next week it will be a long shiur because I'm going to give you